Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of season 1 of Senior to Scratch. This episode is focused on expectations, and there will be a lot of visual elements. So, for those of you that are on the audio podcast, I do invite you to look in the show notes and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you'll see a lot of cool visual representations. Plus, you'll get to see what my simulator room looks like, which isn't anything special, but at least it allows me to keep sort of in golf shape over the long winter season here in Calgary. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate a little bit about this software that I have. My FlightScope Mevo Plus connects to this GS Pro software, which has a lot of cool features, practice areas, little games that you can play with your friends, as well as essentially all of the major courses that you could think of. You can actually drop the ball sort of where your approach shot would be and play the entire course that way. So, yeah, lots of cool things about this GS Pro software. One of the neat things is it generates CSV files for your range sessions. So, as long as you're selecting the right club that you're hitting with, it'll generate CSV files. And I found this nifty software called Golf Shot Analytics. So basically, it just sucks in those CSV files that you create. And yeah, so basically, what I'm showing here is I have a certain time frame that I'm dealing with. I did make some swing changes where I released more, and I think I get a little bit more club head speed since the start of April. So I'm cutting it off at April. But the neat thing here is you can see the carry distance as well as the total distance. You can see the shot dispersion pattern down here as well as what it is on average. And here you can sort of see the ellipses of what the shot distribution is. One of the things that I look at is this summary of the club overview. So you can see for the 9 iron that I currently have selected, this is how many shots I have. I try to do this over multiple sessions so it's not skewed by how I feel on one particular day. And hopefully the numbers are similar. And you can see the carry distance and the total distance and the deviation on average. So what this tells me is on average, even though I hit some left and hit some right, they're basically going to where I'm aiming on average. One of the really neat things is everybody focuses on left to right variation. So in this case, you can see I believe I'm just taking the top 95% of shots. It's weeding out the bottom 5%. But essentially, what these bars mean is I can hit it as much as 12 yards left as well as 7 yards to the right. So this gives me a pretty good idea of what my left to right variation is when I'm looking at green sizes and that sort of thing. But equally important, I think, is this carry distance. So everyone has a certain number in mind. Like I carry my 5 iron, or in this case, my 9 iron, 156 yards. Well, if you look at this distribution, it's certainly got a little bit of variation. So it can carry anywhere from 152 up to about 163. So that's an 11-yard spread. So you really need to take that variation into account when you're looking at, say, bunkers in front or behind the green. Just turn this into a math problem, more or less. Okay, so in summary, if I were to select all of my clubs, you can see this really useful visual representation of variation. Now, I haven't taken a lot of swings with my 7 iron, so it looks a lot better than it actually is. But the point is here, if you know what your left to right variation is and you know what your front to back variation is, in theory, you should be able to map out where your ideal target point on the green is. And keep in mind, this is from the comfort of my own home, flat lies, controlled atmosphere and environment. So in reality, my shots are going to be much more dispersed, I believe, than what you see here. And so if we start from sort of one of the extreme cases, but a PGA Tour player from between 200 and 225 from the rough will average 63 feet from the pin on their approach shot. That's 21 yards, over 21 yards. I guarantee you that most greens are not even that wide. So even tour players are missing from 200 yards, missing the green. You might say, well, okay, well, most tour players play from the fairway from 200 to 225. Well, that may be the case, but still, they are on average 42 feet from the pin. That is almost 15 yards from the pin. That's a recipe for missing a lot of greens. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you, and this is for a PGA Tour player, for us sort of weekend hackers, you could probably knock at least 50 yards off of that and say from 150, just be happy to hit the green. I could go on and show you all of the other yardages, but let's go to the other extreme where, folks like myself say, oh, yeah, if I'm from 100 yards or 125 yards, I'm basically money. I'm going to knock it close. Well, once again, if you look at what the PGA Tour players do, they're not knocking it close. What you see on TV are basically the highlights of the best players in the world having the best weeks of their careers. On average, a tour player is 21 feet from the pin from 100 yards. That is 7 yards from the pin. That is not a birdie opportunity. It's a very low percentage birdie make. So don't beat yourself up if you knock it 40 feet past the hole on a 100-yard approach shot. It happens to the pros more often than you think. Okay, on a lighter note, the moment everyone's been waiting for is a chance, an opportunity, if you will, to see my state of the art simulator room. Well, actually, it's not exactly state of the art, but I will show you what I have, which is a nice area to hit balls during our 7-month long off season. Enjoy. There's my Flight Scope Mevo Plus in my simulator room. Pardon all the messy wires. You can see the projector shortly projecting onto my simulator screen. I usually use a TV that you see there. There's the computer that houses the GS Pro software and also connects to the Mevo Plus, as well as the TV. And there's a nice nifty place for a couple sets of golf clubs, my putting training aids, and a couple of 5 by 4 foot mats, actually 3. You can see the tripod, a bunch of miscellaneous clubs. Like I said, it's messy. My exercise ball, my cart, and there's the 10-foot by 12-foot screen with some holes down the middle because of my son's high-speed golf ball hits. And yeah, that's basically my little simulator setup. That's about it. Thank you for joining me in this episode on expectations. I hope this has tempered everyone's expectations. At least it's tempered my expectations when I look at some of the PGA Tour results. But it should help me mentally during my round and not getting so flustered and upset if I hit a bad shot, because it does happen to everybody. Until next time, we'll see you later on Senior to Scratch.